Yes.
Yes.
Yes, doctor.
Okay, good. Okay, today topic for week 8 is operating system design. Okay, we already now in week 8. Total of week is until 10. Okay, so for today class, I hope, yeah, if you don't have time to do before class, you can do it after this, the add puzzles. And then during class, we do have some slides and some interactivity. And after class today, inshallah, we have Kahoot and some for the previous lecture. Okay, have you done the add puzzle for memory management?
Yes.
Yes, doctor.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Because the lecture for memory management is through the add puzzles. All the lecture has been recorded, so you can watch and answer the question in add puzzles. And then today, in the end of the class, we will have Kahoot to discuss some questions related to memory management. And during that time, we can further explain more about memory management. So I hope all of you will do the app puzzle for memory management. Okay, so this is from the previous lecture. You should understand by now the principles of memory management and how the virtual memory works. Okay, for example, paging. What is paging? So if you remember again, paging is about page frame and pages. What is page frame? The memory is split into page, frame, and then what is pages? Pages is about process that is splitting into pages. So what is virtual memory? So you need to try to understand what is virtual memory, how it works. So when you watch the videos, you will get the main idea where the virtual memory is about demand, where the paging file is stored in the hard disk. So I hope all of you can uh, see what is the allocation for your virtual memory. Okay, any of you have tried this? Maybe you can try it now. You go to your Windows 10. If you are using Windows 10, you can go to the start menu. On the setting, you can choose adjust the appearance and performance of Windows. So I will show mine. Okay. Boleh cuba tak?
Boleh doktor.
Okay. So advanced. Setting. Ada yang dah cuba dah? Adjust. Okay, advanced. Sorry. Saya pun confused. Sekejap. Adjust. Okay. So you find adjust the appearance and performance of Windows. So what you can find is when you click this one, okay, this is the performance options. And when you go to advanced, you will see that that is the part for you that you can set the virtual memory. So you can find here, this is the meaning of virtual memory, which is a paging file is an area on the hard disk that Windows uses as if it were RAM. So it means that it is, for example, in my computer, this size has been used in my computer to be acting like RAM. Okay. Okay. So this is about virtual memory. I hope you will try to understand this concept. It's very important for you to understand it. Okay. So for today class, we can see from the previous class, memory manager play important role in an operating system. And how actually the designer of an OS decide where to locate this manager. Okay, the memory manager, and also there are other manager as well, process manager. So in our today topic, operating system design, so this is our 8th topic today. Okay, we are come here now. We after this, next week, mobile computing platform, and another week, the last week is about parallel computing. So for today's class, we look at OS design in terms of who are the designer of the OS. Okay, briefly, I will explain the history of the OS. I think you have done that during your tutorial. You already actually searched some information about that. And today we look briefly the designer, who are the inventors for the OS, and then we look at how the design support the interface between the OS and the user programs. Okay, and the third one, we look at what is the classification of OS. So in this class, we look at two main classification, which is microkernel and another one is monolith. Okay. We look at the first one, designer of OS. Okay, Windows operating system. I think most of you, I think all of you using Windows, right? Betul tak? Semua guna Windows kan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ya. Tu kenal tak tu Bill Gates? You know that guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bill Gates, kenal Bill Gates is holding the diskette for operating system. Okay. So Windows operating system, which is popular now, was first designed by Microsoft for IBM personal PC, because the PC was invented for personal use at that time, but they need an operating system to run that personal computer developed by IBM. So these are the first OS for that PC for IBM. And the name of the OS at that time is QDOS, which is Quick Entity OS. Okay, and after that, the OS has been renamed as Microsoft MS-DOS. We can see that this is the advertisement. Okay, and you can see that the system at that time is 16. Okay, move on. And then we have to thanks Doug and Gilbert, the inventor of the mouse. Okay, you can see here, this is the first mouse invented in our world. Okay, and also we also need to thank Alan Key, who invented graphical user interface. Okay, this is examples of graphical user interface developed by Alan Key. So from here, we can see that this development of the technology like mouse, and then the invention of GUI, it provide opportunities for the users to get more user-friendly computer. Okay, so because of the hardware available, for example, from the IBM personal computer PC, so it's actually provide Alan Key and also provide Bill Gates, another person, Bill Gates, because the existing of this hardware is provide opportunities like Alan Key and Bill Gates to create more graphically user interface for machines. So as we can see now from our PC now, the interface is really user friendly. It's not like before this. Okay, it's quite hard to use the computer, not like today. Okay. Okay, any of you use Mac? Ada tak? Tak ada kot Okay, so we have seen Windows, and now we move on to Mac OS. In 1984, okay, saya masa ni baru tadika Apple come out with classic Mac OS. So this is the interface of the classic Mac OS. Okay, you can compare it, this one and this one. You can see that there is a lot of differences between the first, between the version classic Mac OS and now Mac OS 11 with Surface. So you can see that the changing in the technology, the changing of the interface design. So the OS now is moving toward more user friendly, and we can use more functions for the OS. Okay, so this is for OS X. Okay, OS X. Okay, we don't forget about Linux that you use for your lab. So who developed Linux is Linus Torvalds. Okay, he started the Linux project in 1991. So now Linux is actually very popular and best known and most used open source operating system. Okay, it is popular for this one, open source operating system. So what is open source operating system? So open source means that the code is made freely available for possible modification or redistribution. So it is the code is free for modification, and also it is free for redistribution. Okay, so that's why Linux is popular, because of its open source element in Linux. Okay, a Linux distribution is the kernel. What is Linux distribution? If you want to know the Linux distribution is actually the combination of kernel and also the software. So that's why if you search about the Linux distribution, you find something like CentOS, Debian, okay, Red Hat, or Ubuntu. So what you use in the class is actually one of the distribution of the Linux. Okay, so you can see that this Linux is actually different in terms of the software. So for example, this is distribution called Fedora. Okay, you can see that this interface for Fedora, for example, is different from the Ubuntu. I think you're familiar with this one. This is Ubuntu, but these two distribution use the same Linux kernels. Okay, so you can see the differences between the interface, but actually they have the similar kernel, and this what we call as a Linux distribution. They have the same kernel, but the software that makes it different. And you can see from the interface also, the users can find that the look is not similar, but actually the engine, the kernel is same. Okay, so I move on to the second topic. So until now, is there any questions?
No.
No, at the moment.
No.
So far,
No,
okay.
doctor.
Okay, so I can proceed. All right.
Yes.
Yes.
So the OS design, you can see from the few examples, the OS was designed by different people, okay, or company. So we have seen just now Bill Gates from Microsoft. Okay, for Mac, who is the name? Apple product? What is the inventor for the product?
Steve Wozniak.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Okay. How about Linux? Do you remember the name?
Kindness.
Linux.
Torvalds, right? Okay. So we can see that the design of the OS by different persons or company, so that we can see the features of each OS is different in certain aspect. Okay. If the OS is same, it might be related to plagiat or they copy each other, but we cannot see that. Okay. But each OS do have some similarities. Okay. For example, the interface layer. They do have interface layer. So how the design of this software support the interface between the OS and also the user programs. So because all these OS must support the interface between the programs from the users, how the users can interact with the OS. So they need to add that layer. So now we look at that layer. Okay, so what the OS must provide is what we call here application programming interface, or in short we call API. Okay, so they provide API so that the services provided in the OS. So let's say this is in the kernel of the OS, so that the services provided by the OS can be accessed by the users programs. Let's say you make a program here, hello world.java, so that the services, okay, so we have a lot of services here offered by the OS, can be provided to the users by using high-level language library. High-level language. So high-level language library like Java. Okay. So examples. For example, let's say you want to print. Okay. Let's say you want to print. I love Linux, for example. So you type here. I love Linux. Okay, this is C, eh? Let's say you want to type in C. I love Linux. So this is in a high level language. So what happened? There is a layer here, which is API, that provide to the users who wants to print this statement, I love Linux, so that you can have access to the services, which is the system call for write. Okay, so I explain more again. So the OS need to provide the interface so that the services by the OS can be accessed by the user program. Okay, let's say you make a number of programs here and you compile and then you execute the program. So you need to write a program. So when you run the program, you need to have access to the system call. So how the program recognize that your program is actually want to write something from the system call. So that's why in the every OS, there must be an interface so that your writing, your code, which is in a high level language, can be can have access to the services from the OS by using application programming interface. So what is application programming interface? So this consists of a number of libraries or commands, okay, that translate your code here into something that can be understood by the OS so that the OS can provide you the service. So what you can see here in your monitor, that it will display I love Linux, okay, in your monitor. So this is examples of API, how it works. So the most common APIs for Windows, you can find Win32 or 64 API for Windows. And then for Linux, we have POSIX API. Okay, so the API, we handle what are the right system call to use. So before this, we have learned about system call. System call has been using in order to run any services by the users. But actually, in order for you to get access to that system call, there is another layer, okay? For example, here you made a program, application program, okay? So in order for you to access to the system call, you need to go through here, which is the API for Linux, if in this case Linux. Okay. Okay, so we have learned the layer between the user's program, which is the application, and also between the OS. We learned that there is API. Okay. So now we move on to see the classification of the OS based on the arrangement of main components of OS. So how we can classify the OS? Okay. There are two main classification. In this lecture, I will only focus on two main classification, which is the first one is monolithic kernel and another one is microkernel. Okay, one of some designers decided that OS must be fast. Okay, they say that OS must be fast in processing. Fast in processing. So that all the main functions of an OS are put in the kernel. Okay, so I put two here. So that all the main function of an OS put in the kernel. This is called monolithic kernel, like Linux monolithic kernels, and this monolithic kernel provide all the essential functionality through a single process. Okay, since all the process, all the function inside the kernel, so the size of the kernel is quite large. Okay, this is the first one, monolithic. And the second one, there are some designers try to design a smaller size of kernel and therefore provide portability. So this is the first one. And some designers like to design another type of OS. They want smaller size, and this one provide portability. Okay, and this one has minimal kernel. Minimal kernel. And this kernel only provide essentially the minimum component that the machine need to actually start running. And this, we call it as microkernel. Okay. Can you label here? Which one is microkernel? The explanation here. Which one is monolithic? Okay, for microkernel, A or B?
A.
A, right? So A is for microkernel. Why A? Because A state here has minimal kernel, yes. Okay, it provide essentially the minimum component, okay. Minimum component that need by the machine to actually start running. That is the keywords for microkernel. Okay, how about monolithic? So this is for monolithic. For monolithic, you can see that all the functions needed in a kernel. Okay, this one minimum component, but this one all the functions in the kernel. So the kernel here is like one big module where everything is running as one program. So that's why this one is fast in processing, and this one we have some disadvantages, which is slow in processing. Okay, so for this one, I would like you to go formative. You can click here. If you cannot click, you go to goformative.com /join, and then you enter this code. Can you do that?
Yes.
Yes.
So what you should do, okay, after this I will open Go Formative. So what you should do is that you need to draw here. Okay, so let's go first there. So okay, so I would like to go to Go Formative. Okay. Okay, so what you should do here is like you try to draw. The question is, first label, which one is microkernel and which one is monolithic? Okay, you label here, this one is microkernel or this one is monolithic. And then the second question is, second, draw two circles. Sorry, this should be S here. Draw two circles that show the microkernel and system processes. It means that in here, okay, so first you decide which one is monolithic and which one is microkernel. And for the microkernel, you have to draw two circles. Okay, one circle is only show the microkernel, and another circle is to show system processes. So for example here, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. For example, 4 blue boxes here. Maybe you think, hi Hafiz. Maybe you think that this is for system processes. So you draw a line here and you set label system processes. And maybe virtual memory and basic IPC, inter-process communication, you draw a circle here and then you label it as microkernel. For example, if you think this is monolithic, just draw which part is kernel part in the monolithic. So first you decide which is monolithic, which one is microkernel, and then you try to draw a circle to show me for microkernel, which is the area for microkernel and the area for system processes. And for monolithic, which one is the area? Okay. So Hafiz, try to do it. Okay, how about others? Any question? You get what I mean? Faham tak apa soalan? Apa yang nak buat ni?
Ah,
Faham
Tak, doktor.
Okay, bagus. So, try to think and in 5 minutes, try to draw. 5 minutes only. Salah pun tak apa. It's okay if it's wrong. At least you try. I really need to see that you are trying. Okay, boleh buat sekarang 3 minit. Cuba buat Mimi, Sarah, Noakila, Nisha. Okay, Milongo dah start. Noakila dah start ni. Nur Anis. Okay, Nur Syafika dah start draw. Okay, try Ravitra. Zo. Who is this? To try. Salah tak apa. This is a learning process. So at least you exercise your hand and your mind. Try. Fidanish, try. Oh, dah jawab. Okay.
Doktor.
Hmm?
Kalau dah terasa macam mana? Saya tekan submit. Tak sempat buat lagi.
Buat lain lah.
Buat lain lah.
Tambah nama version 2. Okay. Yang tersubmit tu, try to do it again. Okay, Nur Syamimi dah start. Okay. So I can see some choose. The left one is microkernel, some choose monolithic. It's okay then. Which one is the correct one? We will discuss after this. So, Tan Zingyi. Okay, you are typing now, good. Ivan. Izati, no respond yet. Wei, Hanif, okay. Mil Wensheng. Try to draw Gan, Daniel. Aina Nadira. Okay, bagus. Dah start type. Li Fai Fei. AD. Wong Wei Sung. Okay. Want to see your response, please. Leon. Okay. Leon, are you finished? Not yet? Pak Razila, still decide ke? Cuba je. Razina, try to draw something there. Oin, Teng Hee, try to submit. Siti. Who else? Hafiz? Tu benda tu Hafiz. Dia boleh delete kan? Okay. Okay, Jacqueline. Okay, almost done. Okay. So, lagi 2 minit. Nan Wang, please. Try. Zati, tak cuba ke? Or you have problems to open? Okay, I think ada Nasia, Hazira, Afiq. Okay, try to draw. Nusha Mimi. Okay. Amira, tak cuba ke? Okay, 2 more minutes. Agak-agak lah Michael kenal apa? Monolithic tu apa? At least you just try. Wrong or correct is okay. Okay. Rina, Aisyah, Mak Miza, Amira, try. Okay, Chan Jan Siang, Ellen Tong. Okay, Go Ziang Hong, Farah. Please try. Okay, 1 more minute. Oh, what does this mean? Ifwat Amza. Okay. Nanti Lucas. What? Man, Kokaizun, Mimi. So I can see variation here. It's okay then. Good to see that you are trying something. Okay. Nisha, Milongo, No Akila. Okay, No Azmin, Mina, tak cuba ke?
Saya dah submit.
Oh, yang lain
Ya, kot. Tapi saya dah submit dah tadi.
Ya, guna nama yang sama ke? No Azmina Azman.
Saya guna siswa punya account.
Saya pun dah submit.
Oh, tapi tak keluar okay, nanti kita tengok balik. Tapi dah cuba kan?
Dah.
Dah.
Okay, bagus. Yang penting dah cuba tu. Terima kasih. Christina, ni komponen baru ke? Okay. Okay. So I think we can see that a variety of responses from all of you. So some said that the first one is microkernel, and some said the second one is microkernel. So which one is microkernel and which one is monolithic? So the area, I think some of you had to decide, right? Which one is microkernel, which part is kernel. Okay. So Mimi, Sarah. Okay. So I discuss now. Good try everyone. I really appreciate for you to try during class. So it means that you are with me and you try something related to our lecture. Good, thank you very much. So now we would like to see what is the answer for that questions. So okay, A or B? A is monolithic or microkernel? What do you think? Just now I can see some said microkernel, right? Some said monolithic. So let we discuss now. Okay, so I would like to have, I need to do. Okay, so for A, I would like to draw for A first. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I will like to draw here first. So this area is one area. Okay. And then this area is another area. Okay. And this is one mode and this is another mode. Okay. So the second one is that this is one big module. Okay. And then this one mode. And this one is another mode. Okay, let's think. What this one will be?
I think A is a microkernel
Okay. Why you think A microkernel?
because monolithic, most of the entire operating system work under kernel space.
Okay, good. So all agree with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we can see here that in A, the function inside the kernel are divided into two. Okay. The first one and the second one. And this one, only the minimum components required by the kernel to run. So this we call it as microkernel. And then the components which is not in the microkernel, this space, this area, we call it as system processes. Okay, system processes. Okay, so this one microkernel, and this is the kernel part, only the kernel part. And then this part, these two, the application interprocess communication, IPC, file system, and device driver, this in system processes, and this one is in user mode. Okay, and this one is in kernel mode. So you can see here, in microkernel, the components inside the kernel are divided into two. The minimum kernels, which is the vital components inside the microkernels, and the rest of the components are inside a system processes, and it has been moved into the user mode. But in the monolithic, we can see that all the functions, all the components in the kernel is still in the kernel mode. This is what we learned so far, right, in our class. And others which is libraries, utilities, and application. This is in user mode. And this one, we call it as monolithic. Is it clear here? The monolithic and microkernel?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. So so you can improve your drawing if you can after this. So at least you get the correct one. Okay, I can see your effort there. Okay, therefore, for your homework, this is a very direct table. I think you can guess the answer, but for the example, you need to do some searching. Okay, for the homework, please complete this table. For further to further identify the main differences between monolithic and microkernel. Okay, maybe the first one. Who wants to try? What is the size here?
Small.
Smaller.
Smaller than monolithic.
Minimum size. Minimum for
Okay.
operating.
Okay, good. So you get it, right? Ni dalam 5 minit siap ni. Okay. So, of course, you can only compare to this. This is low. So this one will be?
Pass.
Pass.
Right.
Pass.
Okay. So yang lain, yang others tu you can discuss. Okay. So when we talk about crash, any one of you blue screen? Pernah tak? Your computer
Pernah.
Pernah.
sometimes
Pernah masa tengah buat lab Linux.
Masa
Pernah,
Windows XP.
sometimes you get blue screen, right? So actually it's these blue screens related to the kernel. Your computer cannot do anything because something wrong with the kernel. So that's why the blue, you get the blue screen. Okay, crash in the kernel. Okay, so that's all actually for OS design. Okay. Before after this we will have Kahoot. So I open for any questions. Is there any questions for OS design? Ada? Semua okay?
For now, okay, Doctor.
For now, okay. Alright. So before we have break, and after break we will have Kahoot. For the santai session, I would like to share here about project management. Okay. After this, I will explain about your next tutorial, tutorial 5, which is actually project. I will explain that after this. So I will explain first how to be a good project manager, because you will have project here for this course, and this project I would like you to have a project leader. Okay, select one to be project leader, and the members is sub leader. I just want to call it sub because I would like you to have a responsibility for this project. Okay, so as project manager, okay, all of you is a project manager, especially for your final year project. Okay, please you can practice to be a project manager from the beginning. From now, for the first year, please practice to be a project manager. So start, for example, for this tutorial, for this project. So this project is 50% for your carry mark. So please focus on it. It is a group work. Okay. So to be a good project manager, first thing is to communication. Okay. So you need to have a standard way of communication. Maybe I think you have a WhatsApp group to communicate. That's good. And please respond. So I think I'm sorry, some of you have give me some message or any questions. So if it is important, I will reply as soon as possible. If it is the information, I means that I will respond after a certain time. Okay, don't worry. I will also discuss about quiz for those has problems before. Okay, expectation. So you must ask plan A, plan B. Sometimes some problems happen with the project, so you have to find solution for that. And then your stakeholders, of course, your lecturers that will check your project and give the marks for the project. And then the thing change, be prepared and deal with it. Sometimes you encounter problems, maybe with the team, your team members. So if you do have problems with your team members, please let know your instructor or your lecturer. Please let them know. So we will advise the right solution. If the members did not contribute to anything, so we will give that member 0 if there is no contribution for the member. So the very important thing is schedule and planning. So please plan ahead. So for your project, I give the timeline. This is week 8. And then week 9, you will have lab test. So please be prepared for lab test. And then week 10 will be your project presentation. Okay, this will be your project presentation. Okay, any question about this? Project. Nak tahu ke projek ni apa?
Ni under tutor ke ada lecture?
Okay, saya buka UKM Folio sekejap. So in UKM Folio, you can find the materials for project in tutorial 5. Okay, this is under tutorial. Okay, let me check where is tutorial. Yeah. Okay, this one, tutorial 5. Okay, so the title for tutorial 5 is futuristic computer model. So this assignment is based on your tutorial groups. Okay, the maximum 4 in a group, and you need to do the presentation during the class. I mean during the tutorial time. Okay, what you should do here is that each group is required to invent a computer that will be used in the future, maybe in the year 2025. Your innovative idea must be for a specific application, for example, mini computer on a drone for air pollution monitoring or smart electric pole for students monitoring. So your idea must be based on recent technology. So try to think something that is creative and involve recent technologies. Okay, present this idea by building a futuristic computer model. You need to create a 3D drawing. Okay, there are many tools or software that you easily can make a drawing. Just search for the internet how to create a 3D drawing to show your model. If you do have some difficulties about that, let us know. So what you should have in your creation? First, this must be related to your lectures. Okay, for example, the hardware parts. For lecture 1 until 4, we look about the hardware part. So in this project, you need to explain the hardware parts of your invention. What is the CPU, RAM, input devices, output devices, and the most important thing, you need to provide us the specification of the components. So how big the RAM? So you can think above, maybe in 2025, how big the RAM can be. Okay, how fast the CPU can be. you can think ahead of time, because this one is for 2025. So another 5 years from now, maybe you can try to think in the future what it will be for the RAM, the output devices, okay? The operating system, okay, what type of operating system you will do. And for example, you need also to think the design. Is it microkernel? Is it monolithic? Or in your tutorial, you will search more about the design, which is that is hybrid actually designs. Maybe you want to use hybrid, so you can use the knowledge from the class to defend your invention. Okay, and then how big is your computer? Is it small? Something is very small, or is it very big? You need to let us know, and the size of the hard disk or the storage. And then you need to list out all the sensors, vibration sensor, face recognition, and their functions. So you can add anything, you can search and add something that is useful. You find the goal of your invention and try to make it useful, because you need to describe how your invention will benefit humankind. Okay, must be valid. Is something that is logik lah, bukan yang sangat tidak logik. Agak-agak logik lah. You must have a logic there. For instance, you can have a mouse that is implanted on your finger, because currently scientists is designing a chip implanted on patient body for blood monitoring. So please provide any evidence to support your invention, so that we know that you do some searching. Your invention is based on the latest research or technology that is available now. Okay, so that is for the content, but for the presentation, you need to draw that model. Okay, you imagine how the model look like, draw in the paper and decide in your group, and then you use a tools or software to draw the model. We don't expect a very complicated one. Don't put so much time to do it. I mean to make a drawings, because the 3D drawing is take sometimes. So think ahead how to do that. And then the second thing, you need to have one page of infographic poster. So in this poster, that contains all the description. Okay, not in the PowerPoint. If you want to use PowerPoint, it's only one slide of the PowerPoint, and then you resize that slide to be a poster. So A3 poster, so you search from the internet the size of the A3 poster, and then you resize the PowerPoint, or you can use any software or tools to create your poster. And lastly, you need to pitch your idea in 4 minutes video. Okay, create a videos and then upload in YouTube, and so that the instructor and all lecturers can see your videos, and also your friends. Okay, so this is before the presentation day. During the presentation day, we will watch the videos from respective groups in the class, and then you will be given 10 minutes for question and answers. Okay, you can find more information about the poster from this website, or you can search from other websites. Make the poster as very attractive. Use combination of good color. Okay, try to see how the posters available, and try to pick which one is suitable for your project. Okay, how it will be evaluated? There are 3. So I'm sorry, this is only 3D model, not a cardboard. Before this, they need to use cardboard, because if you are here, so you can develop the model. But because we are now on online learning, so you only can do is develop the 3D model using suitable software. So we will look at the content of the prototype. This is all related to prototype. And then this is related to poster. We look at the content. Is it the content is based on logic and cover all the needed component there, and then well presented and coherent, so we can see the flow of the contents. Okay, appealing, neat, and capture viewers' attention, well organized and smooth presentation. And during the presentation, okay, all of you must present. If not all, if someone missed the presentation, that maybe one of you is not in the video, so there will be no mark for that member. Okay, question and answer, able to define the product, and we do give you bonus if the project is extra, have some extra element. Okay, so the total for this mark is 60 marks, but 50% will be is for your carry mark. Okay, I open for question for your project. Is it clear?
Doctor, when do we need to submit the project?
Okay, okay, now we are in week 8. Okay, so okay, the submission date is in week 10. Okay, this week or next week, we will create a submission folder in UKM Folio, so all of you can submit on the same time. Although maybe your tutorial is on Friday, but you need to submit the poster, you submit the video, all of you must submit on the same time. So expected that the submission day is early of week 10. So I just put a tentative date here, which is, let me check. So week 10, 21. So tentatively 21. Okay. So any questions?
Hi,
Doctor,
Dr.
I have question.
Yes.
About the video before the presentation, about the YouTube video that we have to upload. Actually, what's the content in that video supposed to be?
Okay. So I will try to share you know, maybe some of the previous project, but okay, before I share that, the content of the video is explaining your poster. Okay, you explain your poster. The poster has this content, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You make a poster that has this content. The content of the poster is this one, right? All of this content you put in the poster, and then you present the poster. And also during that time you need also to present your 3D drawing. Okay, so that will be in your video. So I will show okay, this examples. Nampak kan ni?
Nampak.
Nampak So ni before this Dr. Hadi also one of lecturer that conduct AM 2033. Okay, this is examples, few examples, but I don't say that is the best one. This is examples only. So this is the group member, and you can see behind that. Can you see that is a poster there? Can you see?
Yes.
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 Nampak kan? Okay. This is examples of the poster. You put
Smart.
the information
Smart
there. Yes. Okay. So you say your name, your apa ni, introduce yourself, and then okay. There are many creativity. This is only one examples. Okay. Some of them I don't have the link, the YouTube link, because it is before this we have a different platform before you can follow. So all the link in that platform. So some of them make like a drama, you know, like a drama which is quite interesting, and some of them use many unexpected locations for their video. Okay, so they divide, for example, this group, they divide the materials for each of the member to explain, so that every member has opportunity to explain their project. Okay, so you can see that all of them inside the video. And then lastly, they show the, so this is in our faculty, this is our faculty. And then lastly, they show the prototype model. So they develop by using paper, and then they bring into the class during the presentation. But now, so this is a contact lens. They develop contact lens model. So they said that there is a chip here, and then there is sensor here, and the OS inside. So this is one of the idea from your seniors. Okay. So is it okay? Okay, ada soalan lagi tak?
Okay, doktor.
Okay, clear?
Clear.
Doctor, can I ask?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I ask about lab test? How it will be test?
You can follow.
MCQ.
So we will post information about that. Okay, don't worry. So what you can do now is to if you want to prepare for your lab test, just do it again. Your lab assignments. Familiar with all the commands, the flow from the lab. It is based on Linux. Okay. Tentatively, the lab test using UKM Folio, there will be questions and you submit your answers there. So, but in order to get the answers, you need to run using Linux to get the answers. It's not a direct something that you can search, but it is something that you need to done using Ubuntu.
Doctor, for the answers in the lab test, is it like we should screenshot the picture for our Ubuntu and paste it, or just the answers? Usually
Okay,
like
we will update about that. Okay.
Okay, doctor.
Okay. So any more questions? Okay. So we have a break now. 10 minutes breaks. We come back at 5:23. So please come, don't go away. So because we will have Kahoot after the break. Okay?
Excuse me, doctor.
Yes?
Can you show the QR code while the break?
Okay. Yes. I will show the code.
Doctor, it keeps saying invalid lah. Can I take request control?
Okay, yes.
It says the code is invalid, so can I request control?
Yes.
Doctor,
Thank you, doctor.
Doctor, can I also request control?
Yeah. After.
I'll meet you, doctor.
Hello, doktor. Okay.
Ramai ni anak ni. Sekejap Saya tak boleh allow selagi tak habis.
Sebab dia invalid QR code.
Kenapa Ada yang boleh kan? Ada yang tak boleh
Try refresh, doktor.
Okay lepas apa ni? After this, I will try refresh.
Dah? Doktor?
Okay, saya dah cuba refresh. Okey tak? Sekejap
Okay, doktor.
Cuba try. Mana tahu boleh pula.
Dah boleh, dah boleh.
Dah boleh?
Ya.
Okey, cuba try dulu Boleh tak?
Aku rasa masih tak boleh.
Assignment.
Still tak boleh doktor.
Still tak boleh, doktor.
Tak boleh juga, doktor.
Tak boleh
Doktor tak boleh juga.
Saya rasa sebab ada warna hitam dekat situ, so dia tak boleh nak scan full QR code tu.
Hitam kat bawah.
Okey, sekarang? Oh, sebab tu
Sekarang boleh, doktor.
Okey, doktor dah boleh.
Boleh
Dah.
Doktor?
Ya. Soalan ke?
Nak tanya soalan pasal projek tadi. Dalam soalan tu lah, tutorial 5 tu, dia kata group assignment max 4 orang dalam satu group. Ni kita nak ikut yang group lecture yang dalam ikut yang portal punya tu ke, ataupun kita kena buat group baru, doktor?
Kalau tutorial, group tutorial berapa orang?
Group tutorial yang kita punya yang based on daripada portal tu, kita ada saya
Ada yang 4, ada yang 5 doktor.
Ni yang based on tutorial. Dalam tutorial ada group kan? Semuanya ada yang 4, ada yang 5.
Ada. Ya betul.
Ada 5.
Okey. So nanti saya discuss balik dengan pensyarah-pensyarah. Kita nak tengok sebab mungkin the number of students now is higher than before. Sebelum ni pelajar tak seramai ni. So we will discuss back. Maximum 5 yang now.
Mostly 5.
Mostly 5 Okay, 5 lah macam tu.
Nak kata kumpulan yang ada 4 orang dah tak ramai sebab semua macam 5, doktor.
5 so 5 lah macam tu.
Sebab dia ikut yang dalam portal punya. Portal set 5.
Yang dalam tutorial ke?
Yang portal tu bukan tu lecture ke?
Apa portal? Portal tu yang mana
Ikut portal tu kan yang lecture, yang random student, bukan ikut tutorial.
Oh, yang ni ikut tutorial
Ni tutorial kena satu kelas je lah.
So kalau awak daripada IT ke, daripada CS ke, maksudnya tutorial tu je lah. So katakan dengan Dr. Zainal ke, Dr. Akram ke, ataupun Dr. Dalila kan. So sebab presentation ni during tutorial time, so based on the tutorial groups dengan lecture masing-masing. Kalau dengan Dr. Dalila ada group kan? Ada tak?
Ada.
Ada kan?
Ada.
Berapa orang?
Ada.
How many
Guru-
members?
5 orang, Doktor.
5
orang.
eh?
Mostly 5.
Okay.
4 ke 5.
So follow that structure lah, tutorial groups Kalau masuk, so now follow the groups for each tutorial. For example, Dr. Akram, kalau IT and multimedia, you have groups kan? So follow that groups. Also CS and international students and software engineering, just follow the tutorials. Boleh
Baik,
Boleh,
Doktor.
Doktor. Masalah, Doktor.
Ke tak puas hati dengan tutorial group tu? Okay kan?
Okey,
Okey, Doktor.
okey.
Okey je.
Ya, Doktor.
Okay. So if you do have problems, let your instructor know. For example, if your lecturer for tutorial is Dr. Dalila, so let Dr. Dalila know about your problems. Okay, let's say only you that want do the jobs, do the work. Others just leave it to you. So you must let the instructor know about that. Okay. Tapi saya rasa pelajar students now is very good, right? Semua okay kan? Give cooperation to your members, right?
Yes.
Okay. Good. So can we continue with our Kahoot? Boleh? So I will open again this QR code. I will refresh and then I will share again this QR code. So now I would like to move on to Kahoot. First, we do OS design. Secondly, we will do memory management. Okay, to test your knowledge about memory management after watching all the videos that I have posted in you can follow. Okay, now we look at OS design. Let me open. Sekejap OS. Okay. So 10 questions. Okay, bagi yang problems with Kahoot, so what you can do, just try to manually try to answer, okay? the 1 minute is kita mula Again, if you have problems, just try to answer it manually. At least you get something from our Kahoot. So the Kahoot is actually want to know your practice, to do exercise after class. Let's start,
Yes. Boleh.
Okay. Good luck. Wow. Okay. So the question is which design that you need to modify the kernel in order to add more services. Okay, it means that in a monolithic, all the function in a kernel. So if you want to add more services, you have to modify directly the kernel. Okay, so in microkernel, you can add more easily because the core is inside the microkernel. So you don't need to modify the kernel. But for monolithic, you need to modify the kernel. Any okay?
Okay, doktor.
Yeah. Alright, proceed. Dia ada gemuk ni. Okay, Miza Minglong Iman GS. Ni nama manja Okay, terus. Semua kena betul ni. Masuk je right answer. Micro micro. Okay. So who give this answer? Actually, I can check, who is in this side. Okay, I hope you accidentally click this one. But the answer is microkernel. Because the keyword here is minimum. Okay, the keyword is minimum. Okay. Okay, Annie. I hope you get the idea now. Why is microkernel? Boleh tak? I want to...
Boleh doktor.
Boleh
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 doktor.
doktor.
Okay, we move on. Okay, Vishen, Miza, Iman, Syafiq, Irfan. Which design is simpler? Okay. So the answer is microkernel.
Doktor, kenapa microkernel lagi simple?
Kenapa kan? Ya I share my screen. Ya Okay. So if you look back, okay, simpler means in terms of the kernel part. Okay. So it means that in the kernel part, there is only a few components inside the kernel part. So in this OS, others you can move to the user space. So, but in monolithic, you have to put all the components inside one big module. So the interaction are actually more complicated. Okay, get it?
Saya ingat dia in terms of implementation.
In terms of what? Sorry?
Implementation.
Oh, okay. So, simple dari segi itulah actually. Okay?
Okay, doktor.
Boleh proceed
Okay, doktor.
Alright. Isha, Ankil, Minglong, Irfan and Hafiz. Which design is more secure? Okay, yang ni ada soalan ke? Which one is more secure? Okay, the answer just now is microkernel because of this reason. Okay, if a service crashes, it does effects on working on the microkernel. Okay, but in the monolithic, the whole system will be down. So that's why the whole systems. So that's why microkernel is more secure because the main is inside microkernel. So in a private place. But in the monolithic, all the components inside one big module. So if one components have something wrong, it will affect all others component in the same module. Okay. So boleh proceed?
Boleh.
Boleh. Okay, Milong, Hafiz, Syamil, Siti, 497. Why it is more secure? Sudah jawab. Okay, the answer should be the red one. More operations are done in user mode than in kernel mode. Just now, like I showed you before, the microkernel. So this is user mode, this is kernel mode. Okay. So most of the processes inside the user mode. So if something happen here, this will be still in the secure environment. Okay, the kernel mode. Okay, next. Milo, 497, Kucha, Miza and Hafiz. Okay, good. At this time, we get 160, 90. A Linux distribution is the kernel plus the software needed to make the system actually usable, like Fedora, Ubuntu, and Red Hat. Okay, continue. Milo 497, Miza, Vision, and Hafiz. Next. Okay, so like we explained before, microkernel is more secure than monolithic because the minimum component inside the microkernel, which is run in kernel mode, and also more complex, which is not complex. Monolithic is more complex because it has all the things inside one module. Low in performance because it needs communication between the microkernel and the system processes. So when you need extra communication, so that's why monolithic is faster than microkernel. Okay, any question about this? Boleh proceed
Boleh doktor.
Okay. Milo, Miza, Hafiz, Gemuk and Eileen. Next. Okay, is it true? Okay. So that's why we said that microkernel is more secure than monolithic because the microkernel is separate. If something happen in one component, it will not impact the other component. But in monolithic, if one is affected, others will be at the impact as well. So Milo, Miza, Eileen, and 597. Two more questions. Okay, maybe you ask me. We have not learned this, right? Okay, so you can refer to, this is a lecture note uploaded in UKM Folio. So you can read more about this, about the architecture, okay, monolithic and microkernel. The examples of that, you can refer to the notes in the lecture notes UKM Folio. Okay, so the answer here is Windows XP. This is one of the version of Windows. Okay. Next. Iza, Milo, Eileen, WX. Okay, last question. Okay. So Linux is related to Unix. So the answer is provide basic functionality of Unix in the free system. Okay. So you can read more about this in the lecture note. So Eileen, congratulations. Okay. Right. Can we proceed to another Kahoot? Is it okay?
Okay.
Laggy lah, Doktor.
Yeah. So because I want to see whether you watch or not this video. Buat kan edit puzzle untuk memory management? Do you do that?
Yang latest ke doktor?
Yang before semester break?
Ada yang belum.
Buat important Saya sekarang ni I'm now is cracking saya sekarang tengah buat soalan exam something that I highlight, for example memory management, focus lah. Okay. Very important topic. For our lecture, memory management is very important. So please do the add puzzle. Okay. Kita mula sekarang So virtual memory, it means that virtually you see your RAM is big, but actually in reality your RAM is actually a combination, the RAM itself and with some portion of the hard disk. Okay, that is means by virtual memory. So I hope, I think the 4 videos you can follow really explain about virtual memory. I hope you watch the videos. Okay, so Milong, Ikin, Vishen, Rauf, Semboy. Okay, next. Okay, so idle mean the CPU cannot do anything. In multi-programming. Multi-programming means that the computer, the CPU, can process more than one programs at one time. So you refer back to the videos. At what time that the CPU is idle, although you have a number of processors in the CPU. So this happens because all the processors are in the block state. So CPU cannot do anything because the state of the process is blocked. So you still remember 5 state for the process? Ready, block, what else? Masih ingat tak?
Ingat.
Ready, block,
New.
new.
Waiting.
Yes. Run. Lagi? Last one?
Exit.
Exit. Okay. So kalau if all the blocks, all the programs are block state, so CPU cannot do anything, so it will be idle. Okay, so Hara, SD, Vishen, Haikal, and Husaini. Next. Okay. I think you need to refer back to the. Boleh lepas ni tengok balik video tu? Boleh?
Boleh doktor.
Boleh.
Yeah.
Boleh
Okay.
doktor.
Because I explain everything there, so one by one there. So what is the question just now? Okay. If there are 10 pages for a program but only 7 frames available, it means that only 7 frames available in the memory. Okay. A program can be divided into pages. Okay, if you have a big program, there will be a lot of pages. Maybe program A 10 pages, program B 30 pages. Okay, that means of pages. Pages means you can divide your program into a number of pages. Okay, so it solves the problems to run your programs if your RAM is very small. But in the RAM only 7 frames. So RAM we can divide into page frames, but you have 10, but in the memory only have 7. So what you can solve that is that the if there is the 3 pages, you can store the 3 pages in the storage disk. You can in that case your memory still can be running because you put some of the pages inside the CPU. Ada soalan ke? Ni. Okay. So boleh refer back to the video. So I really explain about paging and all the things related to that. Okay, so version kurus. Oh ni ada kurus Arif, Syafia dan KKX.
Doktor, boleh
Ya.
Doktor,
Ya.
boleh ke nanti bacakan soalan sebab dekat skrin soalan keluar lambat tapi jawapan
Oh ya, okay. Lepas saya baca Sorry for that. Okay, the question is if your virtual memory is low, you will need to. Okay, this is virtual memory. Kalau virtual memory, the fastest way to solve this problem is to increase the minimum size of paging file. If you still remember that in our class, ini kan, ingat lagi tak? After this, you can try to open, okay? So this is where you can increase the paging file. So if you have problems to run big programs, you can increase this paging file. Okay. So I will read the question after this. Okay, Shiru, KKX, Miza, Husaini, and Hara. In paging, split memory into equal size, small chunks. This is called. In paging, split memory into equal size, small chunks. This is called. So paging memory is split into page frame. Okay. Yang tanya tadi boleh
Ya doktor.
Boleh. Boleh
Sound doktor hilang.
Oh hilang pula. Okay, Shiru, KKX, Miza, Hara, Vision. Okay, we have 2 more questions. Okay. Split programs tadi tu memory This one split programs processes equal size small chunk. We want to split the programs into a number of equal size small chunks. This is called direct learning. Okay. Programs is divided into a small chunk called pages. Remember that. Okay. Okay, Shiru, KKX, Miza, Hara, and Vision. The last question. Demand paging is an important concept for demand paging is an important concept for last question. Right. Ada juga yang jawab virtual reality Okay, so the answer is virtual memory. Demand paging ni apa? What is demand paging? You really need to look again to the fourth video in my is that you only give the required page to the view. Like the video. So sebelum kita dapat menang, any last question to ask me? Ya. Ada soalan tak?
Tak ada.
Okay. So thank you all for coming for our class today. So we only have 2 more lectures to go. Next week, mobile operating system, and another week is cloud computing or parallel computing. So that's all for today. if you do have question, you can give me message and then you